Hello readers and writers in the internet, welcome back. Okay, so this video is kind of different. I've never done this before. I didn't do it last year. I think I just missed it or something, or was busy, I don't know, I forgot. But this is going to be my mid-year book freakout tag, I believe it's called. So what I did is I found a website that had all the tags. I will link the website down below, and I'll also say it here in a second once I have my laptop with me. Some prompts I will be skipping because they'll be redundant in terms of my other videos, and then I am adding a prompt at the very end of my own of all the books that I have DNF this year. Let's get into it. So the website that I'm on is called Truffle's Literary Wonders. I'll link her website down there below. It's pretty well put together. So yes. I'm not gonna lie, there haven't been too many. I'm just going through my Goodreads right now and seeing. So Vicious by V.E. Schwab, obviously. Down to the Woods by M.J. Arledge. I really enjoyed that one. And that's honestly about it, with maybe either The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness or A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Maybe those. I don't know. I like them a lot. I just didn't love them. Like, I love Vicious. Yeah, no, there's really not much to say. I've talked about these before. Vicious I absolutely loved. I love the characters. I love the premise. I love the world that was set up. And I'm really glad that I liked that book, because V.E. Schwab's other book, A Darker Shade of Magic, I think it's called, I did not like, and I'm not continuing the series, whereas this one, I have finished the series thus far, and there are rumors that she is coming out with a third book in the series. But yes, Down to the Woods, M.J. Arledge, I really enjoyed that one. I listened to it on Audible. Okay, Down to the Woods again. That's book number 8 in the series. There aren't too many sequels, honestly, that I've read this year. And by the way, yes, I am excluding my school books. You know, there's really not much to say about I'm talking about, like, these books. Like the ones that I chose to read. That's what we're talking about here. And Vengeful, I guess. I enjoyed Vengeful, which is the sequel to Vicious. I enjoyed it a lot. I just didn't like the main antagonist. I felt like she just contradicted herself a bunch, was annoying in a few places. But I did give the book 4 stars. So yeah, Vengeful would be on that list as well. I think that's like that's all I have to say about it. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. This coincides with the videos that I do where every month I talk about books coming out that month that I want to read in the future. I'll link my newest one up there for you guys, but yeah, I won't be answering that one. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Again, that coincides with my monthly release, and then I also did a video of, I think it was the top 10 or most anticipated books for this year, which I will also link up there for you guys. I don't want to repeat myself, yeah. Oh my goodness, there are quite a few respectively. The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Schulte? By her. This book, it had a really good premise, a really nice world. It started out really strong, and then it just crumbled so quickly. And I was like, this was such a promising world and such a promising premise, but there was no character development, barely any world development. The plot, it was barely existent. Like, things would just happen and they would continue. I'm just like, was that necessary? And there were a few times where something would happen. I'm like, what is this? And they would come back later. I'm like, I think that's still kind of unnecessary, which, if you guys know me, I like it when, like, something seems random and then it comes back. I'm like, oh, that's so clever. Here I was just like, no, it's still random. I don't even think the second scene needed to be included. I don't I don't understand. And it also left off, and let me just check here really quickly. I don't believe so, but it also left off like as if there was going to be a sequel. There were quite a few unanswered questions. I just checked. No, this is still a standalone. Yeah, I gave this book 2 stars. I will be reviewing it, but I'll review it after I review Magnolia. So yeah, we got that book. This one is going to be kind of controversial, and let me just preface this by saying I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't hate this book, but compared to what other people had said, it let me down personally. And that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I enjoyed the first half of this book, and the second half of the book, not my favorite, and it wasn't even because of the heavy romance. I kind of enjoyed the heavy romance. I was like, okay, it's here. Might as well just roll with it. It was just everything following it. I was like, this is so different from the beginning of the book. And Holly Hart's books. I'll put her channel down in the description down there below as well. She stated that people either love the first half of this book and hate the second half, or they hate the first half and love the second half, and I couldn't agree more with her. I think the people who really enjoyed the second half of this book are the ones that are gonna want to pick up the sequel, to do that fell in love with the characters then. And then the people like me who enjoyed the first part of the book, they're like, it's fine as a standalone, I don't need to read the sequel. Again, I didn't hate this book, it just didn't live up to my expectations. Yeah, that's it. In the Dark by Anne White. This book I listened to on Audible. I've talked about this briefly, but I knew who the killer was far in advance. It was really obvious, but the book played it like it wasn't obvious. And if you guys, I don't think I've actually talked about this, to be fair, but with me and mysteries, I suck at book mysteries. Like, there are little spurts where I'm like, I'm just gonna say that every character that appears, it's him or it's her. Oftentimes I'm wrong, but like, I'm not one of those people who try really, 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 really hard to figure out who the person is. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy M.J. Arledge so much. Each and every mystery, except for the first one, because I read the second book before the first book, which, I'm a little dumb. But all of them, like, they had good mysteries and good surprises and good twists, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Even when you find out who the killer is early in the book and they're just hunting them at that point, there's still the, why are they doing this? What has happened? What if possibility? All that kind of stuff. And In the Dark, it had none of that for me. It was just, and I wish it would have focused a bit more on the people being trapped in the cabin, in the cold, running out of food, but instead it skips it, and then we just get a little, this is what happened. I'm like, I don't want it, this is what happened. I want to read it. I want to see it. Directly after, We Hunt the Flames by Hafsa Fazell. It is, where to go? Right there. This book I was really excited for. I'm like, okay, it's a YA fantasy that kind of takes place in a Arabian-esque type location, which I was excited for. But that being said, I also really enjoy medieval type, locations. But I was like, this is something new. I was excited for that. The cover is so pretty. And when it came out on paperback, I'm like, oh, that book exists. Oh my goodness, yes, I have to read it. I was excited for it. And then right out of the gate, I didn't like the main character. I forget her name. I think it's like Saphira or something like that. I didn't like her. There were often times I would skip her chapters, and they were like, 2-3 pages worth of chapters. So it wasn't, like I was skipping over half the book. But yeah, I would skip through her chapters to get to my favorite character in the book, Nazir, I think it's Nazir. I liked him. There was a few corny stuff involving his character and his character arc, Romance wasn't my favorite in the book. You could see it coming a mile away. You know what was going to happen. There was barely any chemistry. And the plot twist at the end, it was literally just like boom, 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 boom. And you're like, wait, what's the twist? Is that a twist? Do we know that already? Like, I actually got confused. I'm like, has this already been revealed to us in an earlier passage? Because it's treating it as if it's like a duh moment, but it's also treating it as if, oh, the shocking surprise. You know, I'm just like, I couldn't remember. I'm like, I think this is the twist. And then directly after there'd be another twist. And sometimes the twists wouldn't even like relate to one another. But there was like this string of, I'm not even kidding when I say it's about 5 twists that all just corresponded. I'm just like, honestly, like just reading it, if you just give me the first or second twist, it would have been so much more satisfying for the characters to piece it together themselves with just those few twists and going, oh, so if that's that, then this must be that, and then that's the revelation. But it wasn't. It was always told to them. They never figured it out. It was like, but wait, there's more. I'm just like, what? No. You know, the characters never got a chance to fully, you know, delve into the twist or even let the twist sink in, and that really just disappointed me. The world, despite it being like an Arabian-esque setting, it felt like a normal or not that inspired setting, you know? Like there were often times I had to remind myself, oh, I think they're in a desert, you know? And at the beginning, it really saturated that home when they go to this island that I forget the name of, but, you know, it's extremely hot during the day and then very cold at night. I'm like, oh, they're in a desert. That's so cool. That's such a cool twist. And then something happens with the magic there in that world where it, like, becomes night for multiple days on end and there's, like, no day. So it's just cold. I'm like, okay, you completely taken out that aspect of the main, you know, thing of the book, the main location of the book, of what this kind of made it unique, you know? I didn't hate the book. I gave it 3 stars. I won't be reading the sequel, though. It just really let me down. And then finally, Nod. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I haven't wrapped up the month of June, which I'll talk about a little bit more in depth there, but here it is. I finished it. I was really excited for this book because I'm an insomniac myself, and this one dealt with sleep deprivation and essentially the entire world just getting insomnia and not being able to sleep, which is called, I think I've mentioned this on my channel like a few times already. I just keep on fading the name. I think it's called like deadly insomnia or suicide insomnia, something like that, where literally you cannot fall asleep. And then I think it's like 2 or 4 weeks you just die because your body can't take it anymore. It is a real thing. There's no cure for it. But, you know, only a few cases are known. It's not common or anything like that. But yeah, I was really excited for that. I'm like, yes! A book dealing with sleep paralysis, or not paralysis, sleep deprivation, and, you know, the effects of that, and maybe how it affects, like, your mood or your brain, or, you know, just your day-to-day routine. And, I kind of got that, but this author, Adrian Burns, is very literary when he writes, so oftentimes there was a huge passage that didn't relate to anything, and I just, like, I didn't find interesting, so I just skip it. It didn't add anything to the story, you know, and I'll talk about this more in my wrap-up, but there were just events in here that I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what's the point? And, like, certain plots are completely forgotten about or just swept to the side. I'm like, what? You know, it's just one of those. I didn't hate the book. I give it 3 stars because the premise was so good, and the points where he was not talking, like, strict literary with, like, Charles Dickens once said, you know, not that kind of stuff. The writing was done very well, and also I mentioned this in my, book haul, which I'll put up there for you guys, but Adrian Barnes sadly passed away. I believe it was 2017 from cancer, which is tragic. And I read in the back of this book that he was actually working on another book but when I went to his, Goodreads thing, it wasn't there, so I don't think he finished it, which is really sad and really tragic. He only has 2 books on Goodreads, so he never got the chance to finish this other one, I don't believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me down below. But yeah, this book, it was a fine dystopian book, I guess, if I was expecting it to be something along the lines of 1984, maybe even Animal Farm, one of those like gritty books that doesn't really have a plot. It just goes da 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 da, but then everything like kind of ties together. I would have liked it a lot more than this like plot that I didn't really get and characters that I didn't really get and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, again, 3 stars, not terrible, just wasn't my favorite. Sorry about that long rant, my bad. This is a repeat, I do apologize. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Again, I did not like The Darkest Shade of Magic. I was really, sad about that and really anxious to read this one, but I loved it, so it's okay. And I guess A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I assumed I was going to like this book. It had really good reviews. It's sitting at a 4.34 right now on Goodreads. But I was surprised by how well the plot, the characters, the murder, etc., was orchestrated. Like, it all just wove together, and it, like, you truly, at least I couldn't, but again, I'm bad at this, you truly couldn't see, the twist to the book, and then it was revealed, you're like, that's so smart. That's so smart. And then there's another twist, and you're like, that's even smarter. But yeah, I really enjoyed the book. It's right here. I don't know, I'm pretty sure though, that I will be reading the sequel, which is Good Girl, Bad Blood. I might not though, because this book sat perfectly well as a standalone, but I might, just because I like Holly Jackson's writing and I like, the premise and all this kind of stuff. But this book also utilized, I don't know if you can see that, but like multimedia in it, because she's writing a report, logging everything in, which really just like helped this book. It was really cool. It was a really nice touch that I really enjoyed. Yeah, not a lot else to say. I wasn't really like pleasantly surprised by everything else. Okay, so this might be confusing, but Laini Taylor. I know I said that I didn't really like this book. It kind of let me down, but I really, really enjoyed her writing, and I want to read. What is it? Is it Daughter Who's Smoking Bone? Is that what it's called? I'll put a picture up here for you guys. I think it's Daughter Who's Smoking Bone. I'm not sure, to be quite frank with you. But yeah, I want to read that. It seems really cool. Her writing is really nice, really pretty. I was pleasantly surprised by her writing, not so much the book, if that makes any sense at all, but I want to read more of her work. Newest fictional crush. Honestly, I don't really have one. Like, I enjoyed Victor from Vicious, but I wouldn't say I had a crush on him. I honestly don't think thus far I've received a new fictional crush. Victor. We saw this one coming. Books that made you cry. Honestly, none of them made me cry. Yeah, none of them made me cry, but that's also because I'm not a big crier regardless. I don't think I've ever cried in a book. Yeah, so, yeah, that's not any fault to the author, that's just me. Vicious, obviously. When I finished that one, I had a big smile on my face. I loved it. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, really enjoyed that. Down to the Woods by M.J. Arledge, absolute genius and masterpiece. Picture of Dorian Gray, this one I had been wanting to read for a long time now. I know it's a really ugly cover. I'm thinking about getting the new one. or another one. But yeah, I always enjoy classics, and sometimes I just get in the mood for one. I was in the mood to read this one. It wasn't my favorite classic. I only gave it 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it, and I've been looking for other books by Oscar Wilde to read, if that tells you anything. Okay. There are quite a few. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The cover art was by Christine Blackburn. If I can find the cover artist, I will announce them here. If not, I might do some Googling and just edit their names in at the bottom for you guys. But yeah, she did an absolute amazing job with this cover. It's so pretty. I love it. I don't know. Oh, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Okay, so this one actually had quite a few people on it. The moth art, so the gold right here, was done by Jantine Zandbergen. The background art was just Shutterstock. And then the cover design by Karina Granda. So yeah, there were it seems like 2 people. Absolutely beautiful cover, and I want to say the same for the Muse of Nightmares cover. Is absolutely beautiful. The people who did that cover art, they deserve a raise, because this is just beautiful. It's one of the reasons why I really wanted to pick it up. And yes, I know this is not their fault. I'm just telling this to anyone. The stickers that don't come off, they need to go, because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. They need to stop doing this, okay? Do you know how many books I have that have like Netflix exclusive, or like now a Hulu Plus show, or Winner? This needs to stop, because this is annoying. I want to take the stickers off. Just put a sticker on it so I can take it off, please. We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazell. The cover illustration by Simon Predis. The cover lettering by Aaron Fitzsimons and Ray Chappelle. And then the cover design by Elizabeth H. Clark. They did a really nice job with this cover. I love the cool colors in here, and the gold, and this illustration in the background is absolutely beautiful, as well as the character up front. They did a really nice job. I really enjoyed it, and I love the little, I don't know if you can see it, but the outer banks, the design around the words, I guess. I don't know, dude. I don't know. And again, I know this isn't their fault. This is mainly the publisher, and a lot of US publishers do it. I don't know why, but I don't like this little cutoff right here with the snake behind it. I just don't. It's not my favorite thing. But yeah, I know it's not their fault. And Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long. The design was by Julia Lloyd, and then images were from Shutterstock. This book is absolutely beautiful. Yellow, not my favorite color. I actually really don't like the color, especially on books, but here it really pulls off. The yellow with the blue and then the outline here, it's so pretty. Like, I fell in love with this book. Like, the moment I saw it, I'm like, I need to have it. And then I have it. But yeah, it's really pretty. And the sequel to this one, I think it's like no Hall of Smoke, something like that. It's also really pretty. If I'm not mistaken, it's yellow and purple. But yeah, the Julia Lloyd did a really good job with this cover. Really pretty. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? That kind of corresponds with other stuff, so I won't do that. I mean, it said seen, not read. So I guess the Six of Crows Netflix TV series, I really enjoyed that, and I know that they confirmed a season 2. I will be talking about that at a later date once more details come out about it on my Let's Talk videos. But yes, I am aware, I'm excited, and that was a quick renewal, so that's really good. There are a few. Fury Born by Clara Lagarde. This book I stopped halfway through. I've talked about it with my May wrap-up / June TBR, so I'll link that up there for you guys to go watch. But yeah, it just wasn't interesting me. I hated one of the characters. I thought she was, for lack of a better word, stupid. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like the time gap. I was like, ugh. You know, so I just quit. I might get this one on Audible and just finish it there. I don't know. The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. This one, I got like 1/3 of the way through here. And I just want to point out that this isn't because I hated the writing style, I hated the characters, I even hated the plot. This was simply, I really enjoyed the first book. Where is it? There it is. By him. So I bought this one directly after. And then, it just didn't interest me anymore. The genre, I guess it was in, just didn't interest me. I was like, I don't want to read about this. I want to read fantasy or, you know, classic or something. I don't want to do this. So that's why I stopped it. Hopefully I will finish the series at a later date. The Similars by Rebecca Hanover. This book, oh my goodness, this book. I really tried with you guys. I really did. I had like this much left and I just couldn't do it. Like every page was painful. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the plot. There were so many subplots that just felt so like jumbled, but not in a good way. It was like, we could take out one plot, you know, and like it would be easier, or like answer one plot, but I could see where this was going. I think I already had it figured out. I didn't care for the romance. I didn't really care for the characters. The setting was cool, but not cool enough to keep me reading it. And unless this has changed since, I think I read this in like January, February, unless this has changed from January to February, there is no audiobook of this, and there's no way that I'm reading this again. So yeah, I think this is like a permanent DNF. And that is it. That was my entire mid-year book tag freakout, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of weird taking a prompt from someone else and just answering, and there weren't too many books that I could refer to because a lot of them were school books, and I actually haven't read a lot of books that I like picked out, you know, to enjoy. So I do apologize for that. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all my other social medias such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Those will be listed down in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!